Welcome into another episode of The Well. I'm Drew.
Welcome, and I'm Kat.
Oh, you jumped the gun there. Welcome. That
Welcome.
was
Welcome to all.
welcome to all. Yes. So first things first. Good morning, Miss
Good
Catherine.
morning. Good morning. Good morning, dear.
We realized we're our best in the morning, which is weird
Yeah,
because I'm not typically a morning person, but I am now. Age has a way of making you a morning person.
we've been getting up so early. It's like, why
I
not?
know.
We're fresh out the
Chris
bed.
officially crossed the chasm of, I guess, elderly now.
Huh? Which is not a bad thing, actually.
So, shout out to all the listeners on a few episodes that have really taken off. And if you haven't, you shout out to the frozen pizza community. So, if you're not
Yes.
following, liking, and subscribing, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell. You'll hear all the new updates that when we're publishing, or posting, I should say. But yeah, shout out to the frozen pizza community as well
Yes.
as the Gen X community. Yo, you all definitely showed up. You definitely
Uh-huh.
have been showing up. So we appreciate all the awesome comments and engagement. The frozen pizza one's wild though, I gotta say.
Yeah, that one's been
Shout out to
fun.
Stouffer's Frozen Pizza because you created a lot of memories for a lot of people.
Yeah, and they still engage even to this day, so I love that. I love when
Yes.
companies engage with their social media followers.
And a quick update on Pizzagate. I have not found
Pizzagate.
Stouffer's Pizza yet. I haven't been able to find. I went to 2 other places. Still was
Yeah,
was
it's
unable to find it.
you know who probably has it? Amazon.
Walmart.
I'd
Nah, I'm
totally
not
order it
I'm
from
not buying
Amazon.
frozen pizza from Amazon.
I would.
No, it ruins the experience. I have to find it in store.
Uh-huh, okay.
Don't ruin it for me. Don't
Okay,
ruin I'm sh
whatever you want.
I don't I wanna go old school. I wanna
Okay,
actually go to the store and purchase something. I know
you
that's
go.
a I know. Foreign concept these days. So, I was thinking back, going way back in my time machine, and I started having memories of playing like, the first time I started playing video games or had a
Mhm,
game on something other than, a board, like a
mhm.
physical board. It was something electronic,
Right.
and I think I was one of the first, and I don't know why. I think my parents got it for us. They got me and my brother a computer, and it was
Mhm.
an Apple IIe. I'll never
Okay.
forget it. It was in my brother's room. I don't even know how my parents afforded something like that, but they got us a computer, and we were like instantly addicted. And the Apple IIe was, I don't know if you remember it. I'll put a picture on the screen.
No.
It was like an all-in-one. So it had, like, the external keyboard, but the screen and the computer was all one, and then it had the floppy drive,
Right.
and I'll never forget the games we used to play on that, which just kinda there was a few games that have stuck out in my memory, and I think they've stuck out for you as well. I know
Oh, yeah, for
you're a
sure.
little down the road computer person, but the one that sticks out for me the most that I think I had the most fun playing, which is weird because I am so directionally challenged. Like literally, I get lost coming out of a paper bag, was Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
I love that show. They turned it into a TV show.
The game was so much I just remember having so much fun playing that game. I don't know why. I don't know why that game was so much fun,
Do you think it
but
had to do with travel or, like, going around the world to new thing? Like, that was what it was for me, like, exploring.
I don't know what it was.
I wasn't good at the mystery part, even though I wanted to be.
I think I always liked Clue as a kid.
Mhm.
So,
Same. Oh, yeah, I love
I
Clue.
think
Still
there
love
was
it.
and I think it was just also the visual of it. So, I think it was the whole
Gotcha, yeah.
solving of something, right? So, you had to
Yeah,
solve the crime and you had to go places to solve it. So, to me, there was a storyline to it. It was engaging. There
right.
was a bit of education, right? You were learning. So, I loved games that you learned from, yet
Yeah.
you didn't know you were like, it wasn't touted as an educational game per se, or you didn't see
Mhm.
it that way. So I thought that was really I love that game. I love that game. I'm trying to like, I'm visioning it in my head, just how bad the graphics were, like, if you look back on it. But back then, it was color. I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like, and it would take forever to load each screen, but the anticipation of it.
Did they ever make a board game out of that?
I'm sure they did. I think they spun that series off into a lot of things, but
They did, it was the TV show for me. I didn't know they had the video game, or at least I don't remember it.
Oh, yeah. I had it on my Apple IIe. I mean, we're going way back.
That
When was
is
the
way,
Apple IIe
way back.
released?
Way
Yeah, when
back.
the Apple IIe I'm curious now, IIe come out. Oh gosh, what would we do in '83? So, yeah,
Mhm. I was a
I was
youngin'.
yeah,
I was a
you weren't
baby.
even born.
Yeah,
You
I
were
was.
like, what, 3?
I was a babe. No, I was like 1,
Okay, yeah.
2, 3. I'm not gonna tell anybody what my birthday was.
Come on.
I was a young child.
But I remember the computer having just a massive library of games, and I can't remember all the games right now
Really?
because I don't wanna spend all the time on the Apple because it's not something that you had, so I wanna make sure that we're talking about
True.
common things, but I just remember the experience with that computer. It was my 2nd experience with computers because this is a fun story, I won't get into it, but, I got eviscerated in middle school because my mom was dating now, my parents had gotten divorced. My mom was dating the most hated teacher in school.
Mhm.
So, that is not good for your
Student rep.
street cred, right, in school. So, I got just it was a rough time. Middle school was a rough time for me. Ironically enough, he taught computers.
Mhm.
So and I'll never forget he taught me a lot of things. He was a very interesting, smart man, but very disliked, at school. Ironically, my brother he called him Boner. Like, literally, that was his name. Like, that
Why?
was I don't know. It just I guess because he was bald, and it's just that's what he called him. So, that's what
Interesting.
everyone called him.
Okay.
So, he taught me how to code on a Radio Shack TRS-80. He gave me a
Mhm.
book, and he said, "Here, if you code this, you'll make, like, a spaceship game where you could fly a spaceship using the
Oh, that's
keyboard."
cool.
I was like, "That was super cool," and I realized at a very young age that I was not cut out to code, but I did learn how to write syntax and all this other stuff at a very young age, and I think the TRS-80 came out after the Apple, but the Apple IIe was the start of something great. For
Mhm.
me, as a kid, that opened up my universe differently than it had in the past. So,
Yeah.
I wanna ask you, what was your first gaming console?
One of my most favorite memories of gaming was the Oregon Trail. That was one of the first games that I ever played because it was at school. We had a computer lab with those really old computers with the keyboard and the floppy disk, and I remember the sound it would make as it
Yeah.
loaded up. Like, I'll never forget that sound, and then we couldn't wait for computer lab. Like, I could not wait. And then when we got to play Oregon Trail, and it was like the green screen, and it's like so archaic, compared to now. But at the time, you're like, this is cutting edge, right? It was so much fun. It was so much fun. So that was definitely my first, I think it was my first experience.
Do you know when Oregon Trail came out?
Nope. Was it?
1971,
I was gonna say, isn't it in the 70s?
but it
Yeah.
came
So,
but it came really popular in the '80s, so you were spot
oh
on, and
yeah.
actually,
Yep.
we played that on the Apple IIe. Shout out to Apple
Yeah.
for making memories,
I'm gonna have to
but
look at what
yeah.
the Apple IIe looked like
And the
because I
game
can't
was
remember.
brutal, though. Like, it was a
It is,
brutal
it's
game. You all
but
died of dysentery.
we talked about this the other day. It's like, what was it I was telling you that was some kinda nursery rhyme? It was the
Uh,
other night. I was like,
Piggy,
"Oh,
this little
oh,
piggy went to market.
my dad used to like, do this to my feet when I was a little kid." He'd be like, "Oh, this little piggy went to this little piggy," and then the pinky was always, "Oh, and this little piggy went
Piggy
to market," or whatever. We Yeah, but the market, I saw this somewhere, the market meant, like, it was going to get, like, cut up and sold as bacon, and I was like, "Why?" We were saying, "Why did all of our nursery rhymes come from, like, sinister origins?" Like,
well,
"Ring
be
Around the Rosie," "Pocket full of
yeah.
posies." Posies were, like, flowers for dead people, and I'm like,
Alright, way
"Ashes,
to bring us
ashes."
down, Catherine. Jeez.
And actually, the Apple IIe, I use something similar, a version of that in my computer lab with the old mouse, the corded mouse. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. And the
Yeah, and it
floppy I
was
love the floppy disks, those were
yeah,
awesome.
and I don't know if you remember, but first I wanna continue talking about Oregon Trail, but
Continue.
so everything was, like, catastrophic in that game, right? You had
Yeah.
dysentery, you had the
Disease.
broken spoken wheels, right? The
Oh,
the
yeah, that's
the
right.
wheels would
Famine.
break,
Your children died.
starvation,
Uh-huh.
snake bites,
Yeah.
drowning while,
Drowning.
getting lost, so it was survival. That game
It
was that
was.
that game shaped the Gen X generation and early millennial generation, I feel like.
Well,
And no shade to the I know I captioned a couple of the things, like, as Gen X only, so shout out to the early millennials that have popped into the comments and said, "Hey, I remember that stuff too." So, no shade, everyone's welcome in this conversation. But, yes, it definitely that Oregon Trail kind of I don't know what the craze was because literally it was a horrible game about horrible
But
things.
we never thought about that, which is so
Yeah.
interesting. As kids, we didn't think, like, it was not, like, a scary game. You would think it would be scary, but we thought it was hilarious. Like, we couldn't get through our, whatever, winter, we froze to death, you know?
I know, and if you were able to hunt the buffalo, it felt like you were winning the Super Bowl. I don't know if you remember
Yes,
that, but
yeah, I
shooting
do
the
remember
pixel
that.
animal, you were like,
Uh-huh.
"Poof," and it's like, great, you get to feed everyone for, that
Yeah,
definitely felt like winning.
it was the
So
best. So
and
good.
do you know what else was so much fun back in the
What?
day? Back in the day, do you remember so my house burnt down, we lost the Apple IIe.
Speaking of Oregon Trail.
Yeah, speaking of
Disasters.
disasters, lost everything. I
Uh-huh.
had a tortured youth. We had to get another computer, and we
Okay.
got the Apple IIc, which was, like, portable, which was high tech, right? It had a
Okay, I don't
handle
even
on
know
it.
what that looks like. Apple IIc?
Yeah, it had a you could plug in an external monitor. It was I
I
don't know,
think those
again,
are the
I'm
ones that I used in computer lab. Yeah, actually, these were exactly the ones I used.
so we had that, which wasn't as much fun as the IIe,
Uh-huh.
but
Why?
it just it just didn't feel as fun.
Okay,
I don't know why. I
okay.
guess 'cause your first is your first. You always
That
love
is
your
true.
first.
Yeah,
So,
true.
print shop. Do you remember print shop?
Yes!
With the dot
Yes!
matrix printer,
What
and you
was the
used to
big
make
thing you used to make?
the banners. You used to make the
Uh-huh.
happy birthday banner,
Oh,
and
yeah.
literally, you'd use, like, a ream of paper, and
Yes.
it would take, like you'd have to schedule it. It's kinda like calling into FedEx or putting in an online order to FedEx, "Hey, I need this print," right? You had to send the job to so, those dot matrix printers with the perforated, gosh, what were they called? The
They
reams
were
of
little
paper with the
the
perforations? Yeah, and
edges.
it had
Yep.
ran around the cog, and you'd pull
Yeah.
that was my gosh, that
It
was
was
a great
awesome.
printing those images and that and Garfield. I remember printing a lot of Garfield. I don't know why,
Really?
but Garfield seemed to be always a piece of clip art that was
Oh,
always
that's funny.
available.
That's funny.
So,
We'd always make the happy birthday signs. So I remember actually my sister started that. She was 8 years older than me, so she would make the birthday signs and bring them home for birthday parties for us. And then I got the chance to make them. And then later on, when I got older, I'd go to the library and they would have like a printer at the library at school. And shockingly enough, I would print a lot of stuff, kind of like how I do now.
yeah,
But it
so
was the best.
Catherine prints the internet, so she is not environmentally friendly.
I like to have physical printouts of stuff.
It's a problem. She prints almost as much as her printing habit is like my sneaker habit. It's excessive. So,
But you have to give context, there's a reason. I mean, normally by myself, I wouldn't print a ton of stuff. The only reason I print a lot of stuff is because I run organizations.
damn. Pardon-moi,
Yeah.
mesdames.
So back it
Don't
up.
back it up. So polite. But yes, Photoshop. I still remember
No,
the
not
splash
Photoshop,
screen.
print shop.
Print shop. The print shop, I think it was
Yeah.
originally called.
But they had templates, like, they had already pre-selected things that you could like, I
Yeah,
remember
for
a teddy
banners,
bear,
signs, greeting
balloons were
cards,
big.
balloons. Yeah,
Yeah, I
the
tried
balloons are
to
big.
honestly, it's funny, I actually think that was probably one of the first times I was really interested in design.
Hmm.
because you could create these banners. Like, I loved the fact that you could create something, and you had the freedom to like, we didn't always get to go to computer lab and do stuff like that. It was rare we got to use print shop, but my gosh, it was so much fun when I
And you
did.
could do some design layout too, like, I feel
You
like that
could,
was
a
one of
little
the
bit.
first things. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't obviously what we have today, but it was a way to create on the computer, and I
Yeah, it
think it
was.
opened up.
A whole new world. Whole new
Yeah,
world.
I don't know if we needed that,
We always need that.
but it was your first exposure to clip art, at
It
least
was.
mine.
Ooh, you just triggered something.
Memory
This
unlocked.
memory unlocked Word Clippy, Word doc Clippy later on. You remember Clippy, the little paper clip?
Yes, I was not a fan of Clippy. Clippy
It
was dumb.
irritated me.
It
I didn't
irritated
like it.
everybody, that was the
I was like,
joke.
"Get
No
off
one
my
liked Clippy.
screen." It wasn't helpful.
Everyone disliked Clippy.
But don't you think that was probably one of the first? Like, I would consider that one of the first, like, chatbots, like, the first helper
Yeah,
things,
yeah, like a virtual assistant.
tutorial, virtual that was what it was called, a virtual assistant.
It
So,
just
I
didn't
think it's
work well.
funny. No, it didn't, the
But I
poor thing, but
appreciate
it was
the,
cute.
gosh, all the God. So, yes, when Windows came out, man, what what a game changer Windows was for the
I used
computer
Word
community.
so much. I
I'm
would write
talking
creative
before,
stories.
like, Windows 3.1, like, old Windows.
I don't remember
Windows
that.
NT, I mean, geez, really, I mean, when I took my MCSE, if anybody remembers that far
I don't know
back,
what that is.
Microsoft certified systems engineer.
Oh,
So I
really?
went to get my MCSE certification because it was all the rage back then, and
Yeah.
I was so broke that I needed to change careers because I couldn't cook anymore because it was killing me. But that was all the rage. So I went to night school, like evening classes, and took this
Mhm.
MCSE course. Anyway, so that was fun. But going back to video games. So outside of the computer, what was your first gaming console? Like what was the
Nintendo.
first Nintendo? Okay.
Yeah,
So
like
for
the
me,
original.
the NES. I mean, there's no substitute for the Nintendo NES, but I want to take it a little further back and then we'll get to the NES. I want to go progression wise. And this is
Okay.
probably before your time, but the Intellivision for me was so my best friend, we talked about him in the other episode, the car
Mhm.
episode with the Jeep. He got a ColecoVision. I
Mm.
don't know if you remember
Nope.
ColecoVision, but he got it for Christmas and he invited me. He was so excited. He's like, "You got to come over. We got to play Coleco."
Mhm.
We pulled that thing, oh my gosh, like, game changer. Donkey Kong? Oh my yeah, like, glued, and the
Mhm.
controller on ColecoVision was awesome. My dad was an interesting gift giver. He was always he was an early adopter all the
Yeah,
time.
sounds
I
like
wonder
you.
where I get it from.
Yeah.
So, instead of Coleco, which me and my brother wanted, he got us an Intellivision.
Mhm.
Which was totally different, and you couldn't play the same games, but they had a whole slew of other games.
Yeah.
So, there was, like, Astro Smash or Asteroids, what was it called? I actually wrote it down because my brain is mushy.
I
Astro Smash, I was right.
okay.
Major League Baseball, Utopia was awesome
That
because
I
that
actually do
one was,
remember.
like, strategy, and I was really
Uh-huh.
into strategy games, and Dungeons& and Dragons on Intellivision, the dragon noise, "Woo, woo." I'll never forget. You
Oh,
talk about
that's
the noise
funny.
the computer made, and I'll bet you I'll be able to find
Hear
allergies
anything?
this morning. It's like pollen fest here in Texas. But the noise the dragon made, I'll never forget that noise. It's kinda like when you were talking about the disk spinning and the
Oh,
computer
yeah. I
booting
love
up.
that. Yes.
So that was a great and Intellivision just had this cool, like, controller with the keypad, and it had, like, a joystick and the buttons on the side. So it was very I don't know, I played that nonstop, and there was 2 games that really stick out for me. There was Dracula, where you would run around as Dracula and literally have to attack people.
Huh?
So and you had to do it in a certain amount of time before the sun came up or you died, and you could
Yeah.
turn into a bat. And then there was a game this game scared me. It was called Microsurgeon, and I'll put it up on the screen when I clip this, but literally, you piloted a tiny medical probe inside the human body. You traveled through the bloodstream, the
Oh,
lungs,
I
the
remember
heart,
you
the
telling me about
stomach,
that.
other organs, and you had to repair infection and damage, and
Oh
you
my
had to avoid
goodness.
things like bacteria and clots, and
Oh, that's funny.
this was basically Fantastic Voyage, but the video game. So, you
Oh,
I don't know
that's
if you remember
cool.
Fantastic Voyage
I
where they would
do.
shrink the so that was those games forever, are burned in my brain, but Microsurgeon was frightening. I mean, the graphics, you were literally flying around the body. It was very
Rick
kinda
Morales.
graphic. Rick Morales.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Rick Moranis.
Mer
Like, who's that? Cat likes to make up people. Oh, that's gonna be a good clip. Let me mark that. Rick Morales.
I don't even know where I got that name from.
No one does.
Morales.
Shout out to Rick Moranis, by the way.
But I remember the movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So it's kinda
But
like a
I
precursor.
but I do feel like a lot of the video games that I guess we kinda started with were educational. There was
Yeah. Well,
education in them.
they still had a ton. Even, like, when the kids were little, still would get CD-ROM games for them at, like, yard sales. People would sell them a dime a dozen, and they loved playing them, and they were very educational. Like, the little they were fun. What's not to like?
Were so I don't know if you ever did this, but I would schedule my week to go hang out with the friends that had different gaming consoles. So
Uh-huh.
one person would have the Coleco, and then when Coleco kind of went away, actually the first one was Atari, but I never had an Atari. Maybe I
Did
did.
you ever play it?
Oh, yeah, yeah, we played
Okay.
Atari. All the original like Pong and Asteroids, and we definitely played. I just don't think I ever had one.
Okay. My brother-in-law has had one. He remembers it very well.
Yeah, I remember Atari, but in television really kind of stuck out for me more than Atari. And then I wish I would have gotten I never got the, Sega. I really always wanted a Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
So, I had friends that had the Sega, but back to the NES.
Mhm.
I think that changed gaming for everyone.
I know it did for me.
I
I
think it
think I was
saved
like
the entire industry as a whole, like, literally the Nintendo NES, because I feel like ColecoVision and television, they had their run.
as exciting.
Nothing catapulted video gaming like the Nintendo NES.
Yeah.
Favorite NES game?
Duck Hunt was always a favorite but of course, and I don't know if anybody else would say anything different. And if you do, you're just not cool. But just Mario, I mean, was one of the best, the original, like how can you compete with that? Now, granted, there were other games that came out that were really, really super fun, but to me, the Mario, it's like your first, the first time you do something that was my favorite. I think I put in so many hours into that game for years. I would always play that no matter what other games came out. And then the next one that I used to love, funny enough, before I ever was interested in volleyball, was like Kings of the Beach. I think that's what it was called, and it was beach volleyball.
That's
And
obscure.
a friend of mine had it, and I'd go over to her house, and she had a Nintendo, and we would play it, and I couldn't wait to do that. There was another game that came out that was more of like, it's like a treasure hunt, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, those 2 games were my favorites when I first started playing.
Yeah, for me, definitely you all make fun of me for the way I say it, but
Mario.
Super Mario Brothers was definitely, and then you would get to that point after you were playing for hours, like your parents would be yelling at you to, get out of the room or go outside or, come down for dinner. And you were at a pivotal point,
Right. Uh-huh.
right? And you
Yep.
had to like
You
just
couldn't
put the
save back
controller,
then.
you couldn't pause.
No, and you
Or
couldn't
you could
save it.
pause,
No, you could
I'm sorry,
pause.
you could pause, but then someone would always hit the console, turn it off, and you were
Uh-huh.
devastated, you were
Oh, yeah.
heartbroken if someone touched that, if you were at that pivotal point, because you had to start all over,
Oh, yeah, and it
so it
took
was
so
brutal.
long to get to certain points, but I don't think they had an automatic save feature
No,
yet. It
they
didn't
didn't,
come
because
out
there was
till
no,
way
like,
later.
physical storage on the
Yeah,
NES, so
and I
and,
remember taking the game out and blowing it,
blowing on it, yeah,
My
because
gosh.
it would just all of a sudden glitch in the middle of a pivotal part. I
Uh-huh,
remember that
yeah.
more so, so my big favorite games was Super Mario, Zelda. I mean, you can't really talk about Nintendo without talking about The Legend of Zelda.
Which
I
is
loved
funny I
Mike Ty
never played. I
Yeah,
never
I
played it.
loved it was I guess because it was similar to an adventure game, and it was
Yeah.
kind of open. It was the first of its and I'm sure the video gamers will come at me if I'm getting anything accurate. This is just my remembering of it. I'm not fact checking all of this, but, kind of the first open world type game where you just kinda
Gotcha,
walked
yeah.
around. Also, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out! I played that game
Really? I
so
don't
much.
remember
It
that one.
just cracked me up where, you were trying to time it and everyone, was telling you, "Okay, when this person does this, hit them like this," and just it was a great game. Mike Tyson and if you got to Mike Tyson and could beat Mike Tyson, you were next level. But I think one of
Yeah.
my most favorite games was Contra. I freaking loved Contra.
I don't even know what that
Oh my
is.
gosh. That because it was
Contra?
co-op. So it was like the first game I remember that you could play together. So you
Yeah,
had two people.
that was more of an arcade game. That was it. I
Yes,
remember
but it
this
was
at
on the
Pizza
NES.
Hut.
It was
I
on
don't
the
remember it.
NES.
I'm
So
sure it
that was
was.
huge. Metroid, I don't know if you ever played Metroid.
Nope.
And the first so I got a Game Boy, and of course you gotta talk about Tetris, right? Like, I didn't play Tetris on the NES a ton, but I played it on my Game Boy nonstop.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, did you play Excite Bike?
No.
Where you were,
Mm-mm.
like, on the motorcycle? That was another one.
Oh, I'm looking at this. What game was this? What was the race car one? And it always looked like it was in, like,
Uh,
California.
oh
Do you
gosh.
remember that?
That was a arcade game.
Yes. I
Let
gotta
me
look. I see it. I just can't it doesn't have the name. Pole position? No.
No, that was different.
Let me open it up and see if it shows.
You small bit. Anyway,
I'll
we'll
find
find it.
it. I'll find it. But
But
yeah, anyway,
did you
they were
play
lots of good.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
But yeah. Yep. I did.
That was a great game on NES too, because it was another co-op game. So it was always a pain, right? It was amazing how you used to have to share time, right? And you'd be like, "All right, after you die, it's
Oh.
my turn." How'd
Yes.
you
Oh,
figure it
yeah,
out?
always. I think there was one called Outrun where it was you were on a motorcycle, but it's so funny because the motions on the motorcycle were so, like, hacked up, it wasn't, like, smooth like it is now and realistic. That's so funny. Boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
used
where
to
in the
play that all
arcade,
the
like,
time.
bicycle handlebars, and you would push them forward
Yes.
to pull them back.
I
Um,
love that one.
so I don't know if you remember the commercial for Paperboy, that was awesome. Like,
I
back in the
don't
day, I'll
actually.
put it on the screen, but the commercial for Paperboy was a lot of fun. Did you play Mega Man?
No. What's
Oh
Mega Man?
gosh.
I played, Final Fight,
Yeah, but
Mega
these are
Man?
these are
I have
not
to look.
NES games. So Castlevania, I'm talking like old
Yeah, no, old keyword.
Frogger, I'm sure you played.
I didn't play Frogger.
What was your favorite Super Mario game?
It had to be the one with the tail, the raccoon tail.
Super
That
Mario
was
3.
that was so coveted.
I think
People had
that's
that game. I never had it.
I think that's the best NES game ever.
It
Honestly,
was, like, the one with the most features. I mean,
it
that
just was so much fun because literally Mario turned into the little like flying, what was it? Like almost like a
raccoon.
raccoon.
Yeah.
It wasn't a raccoon though because it was brown and white. But
Oh, I don't
anyway,
remember that.
I just I just remember that game. Literally, you didn't think Super Mario could get any better, and
Yeah,
it got better. And
right.
literally, all the Mario games are great, but that's the greatest of all time.
It was called a tanuki suit, the base
Oh,
raccoon
that's right.
form.
Thank you. Thank you.
It also do you remember the super leaf?
Oh, yeah.
The leaf? That was one of my
Yeah.
favorite things. That's
And
hilarious.
was
Yeah, I loved all
Yoshi in
that.
that one? Did
Yeah, I it
Yoshi?
had the egg
Okay.
and all that. Yeah, that's why I liked it because it had the most stuff. It was like the creme de la creme, the peak of Mario. Yeah, so that was fun.
So you were talking about arcade games. So
Yes.
what was your so my friend, and if you're ever listening, shout out to Jeff, one of my best friends. I have a lot of friends. So weirdly enough, I don't know if other people my age have this, but I've had my same friend group for my entire life, and we
Rub it
all
in.
talk. No, I'm not trying to rub it in. I'm curious if that's weird. Literally, I have the same friends I went to grade school with as I do today. We're all still friends. So even though we're spread out all across the country and have our own lives and families and stuff, we still talk every day. So my friend Jeff and I always went to the arcade. We were arcade junkies. Like, man, you give us a roll of quarters. And back in the day, I got to figure out a bit. I feel like I say that too much. Back in the day, do you remember going to restaurants and they had the video games when you walked in? You'd beg your parents for a quarter. Like, you
I
couldn't
do.
sit at the table for 10 minutes waiting for your food. You had to go be entertained at the arcade.
We never we never had that, I don't think, but I would always have my mom would always have birthday parties for me at Pizza Hut, and that's where I played all my arcade games. They had multiple arcade games, and we would eat pizza, and that's pretty much all we would do is play arcade games. That's how I knew about, like, Mortal Kombat and, like, all these other fun games we used to have. I'm sure I played Frogger too.
So, what was the game that you loved to play the most?
I
Was
have
there
to
one?
say Mortal Kombat, I absolutely love
Outrun.
that. Yeah,
That's what
that's
that
the
game
one
was called. Yeah,
that's
sorry.
what I was saying. I said that already.
You were in the Ferrari, I think it was a Testarossa.
Yeah, I played Mortal Kombat and Nintendo had to be my top
It wasn't a
2.
Testarossa. Anyway, go ahead. Mortal Kombat had to be your top 2. Mortal
Mortal
Kombat was
Kombat and
big.
Nintendo was my top.
You didn't play Mortal Kombat in the arcade?
That's where I played it, in the arcade. That's the only place I played it. Nintendo was on the Nintendo NES system. Mortal Kombat was in the arcade at Pizza Hut, and that's pretty much all I played. I loved it. I played others, but I didn't find them as exciting. I don't know
Were
why.
you good at Mortal Kombat? Could you
I
do
was
all the
really
special
good.
moves? You could do all
Yes.
the finishing moves? Wow.
Yeah.
The
I was
combos?
really good, and I don't know why, like, I've said this before on another episode, like, I went and tried out for the FBI. I feel like all these little things in our childhood really speak to other things that we do later in life. Like, I was really into karate. Like, I didn't go to I wasn't a karate person, like, physically, but I loved it. So I love Mortal Kombat, thinking about the moves, and how to, like, beat them, and then, NES, the Super Mario, I mean, it was just what was not to like? So, yeah, those were my two top games I played. Oregon Trail was the other one.
So we were big into Pac-Man. Donkey Kong was a big one for us. Street Fighter was huge. Like
Oh,
when Street
yeah, that
Fighter
was the
came
other one
out,
I liked, yeah.
just because it was, again, you could play against each other.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was huge. I remember loving Dig Dug. I don't know why. I don't know if you remember that, where you're digging
I
into the
do,
ground, you had
yeah.
to, like, blow up the people. We played a lot of Mortal Kombat as well. Double Dragon, do you remember Double Dragon?
No, I actually don't.
And Time Crisis. I don't know if I mean, that was, like, the shooting game. That was huge. Time Crisis
Oh,
was huge.
I don't
So,
remember.
it's funny because we went to the video game museum
Mhm.
here in Texas. That was
Oh,
awesome.
yeah. Yeah, the
Walking through
Frisco
all
Discovery
the
Center.
nostalgia. You wanna talk about a walk
That was
down memory
cool.
lane. That's a shout out to the Frisco Discovery Center for their video game museum.
Mhm.
A lot of fun, and then at the end of the museum, spoiler alert, they have all the old video games you can go and play. So,
Yeah, it's really
that was a lot
awesome.
of fun. That was a lot of fun. Gosh, video games. So now,
Now I
I
wanna go
still love the
again.
video games. So, getting into the future, or
Mhm.
getting into more of
More
the
recent.
updated games, I'll never forget when I got my first Xbox, and
You
I
never played
just
Sega? You never did, like, any
I
of
played
those?
Sega. Yeah, yeah.
Did
I
you?
I just
Okay.
never had a Sega. I always wanted a Sega and I always wanted a Dreamcast, but I was at that age where I was just not home.
Oh,
So,
gotcha, okay.
yeah, Sonic, I mean, come on. You can't talk about video games without talking about Sonic. The noise of him eating the rings or hitting the
Mhm.
rings, I mean, that's a soundbite forever burned in my brain. And Sonic was cool because, I mean, Hedgehog, I mean, running around, spinning, jumping, and so it was a fun game. I always
Yeah.
liked Sonic. I had a was it a handheld? No. So I never had the Sega, but I
I
did
did,
get
and I'm trying to remember what game or say yeah, we did play that, but the kids were little, and we played one in particular, and I'm trying to find it. It was something like a haunted house. I have a feeling it was like Goofy or Mickey Mouse in the haunted house or something like that. But that was so much fun. But we didn't really stick with Sega for very long. I don't know why. I didn't like it as well.
Sega kind of fizzled out. I mean, it had its
It did,
run, and then
yeah, but that was pretty much it. I don't remember having it for very
I think because
long.
it was so expensive. I think the
Oh, maybe so.
Dreamcast or the Jaguar? Gosh, I'm mixing it all up, but literally those consoles were I'm pretty sure they were expensive. So I think that's
Yeah,
why it
and the
kinda
games were.
yeah, so it kind of priced a lot of people out of the market.
Yeah.
But so I guess I was older when I got my first Xbox, and it's funny because I was staying at home. I was
Mhm.
in between jobs, and at the time when my daughter was born, I was the stay-at-home dad. So when she would go down for a nap, I would play Xbox, and I'll never forget, this was when Xbox Live first hit, and playing online against other people was wild. It was just
Oh,
wild to me. It was just it was a game-changing experience, but, before then well, we could talk about that on a different episode. We can talk about the evolution of the internet and what we had to go
that's what
through to
I was
get
thinking.
online.
Yeah.
This was I mean, I at this point, everyone had at least somewhat of a high-speed connection, higher speed connection
Uh-huh.
available, and man, playing online on Mech Assault, that was the first game I played on Xbox Live, so that was that was wild, and then Halo came out, and that just destroyed the gaming industry for me in the best possible way. It just shattered everything, and for all the people that started out playing Xbox, if you got that fricking sword you were running around the Halo board like crazy, just pillaging and destroying everybody with that stupid frickin' sword. It was so annoying.
Oh my goodness.
You would just I just rage quitting just oh my gosh, all the time because you
Yeah,
just could not get away from the guy with the frickin' sword, so
true.
but video games, I gotta say, like, arcades were just magical places.
They
You could
were.
get lost in the arcade. You really could for hours. Jeff and I would spend hours, man, and we'd spend so much frickin' money. We'd save money to go play at the arcade
Quarters.
and waste it. Like, what a
Mhm.
waste of money. So
Not really. It was your entertainment.
it
It was
was,
fun.
and I'll never forget, like, times were just crazy back then. My parents allowed this, so me and my friends decided to go to Wildwood, New Jersey. Now, we grew up in Philly. Wildwood was a couple hours away.
Mhm.
By ourselves at 14 or 15. We took a bus,
Oh.
literally took a bus, stayed I don't even know how this happened. We got a hotel room. I am not lying about any of this. This is all truth. We got a hotel room, young teenagers in a hotel room on the
Mhm.
beach by ourselves. No parental supervision whatsoever for
Oh,
like
wow.
4 days.
Yeah, that's
There was an
kinda
arc
crazy, I think, but
There was an
yeah.
arcade. We were 14. There was an arcade right next to the hotel, so Jeff and I literally spent when we weren't trying to, like, pick up girls for whatever reason, I don't know, that was the big thing at night, we were at the arcade because arcades really were chick magnets back in the
Uh-huh.
day. That was a
Yeah,
joke. So,
I
yeah,
figured.
I just I think back, like, we would never let a 14-year-old do that today. You're
No.
not
Well,
sending them to, a
I
couple
wouldn't,
hours
no.
away. So, I
Yeah.
just
I mean, I'm sure people still would, but not no, I'm not doing that.
unsupervised with no
Yeah,
parental
no.
supervision whatsoever? Yeah, that was crazy.
Did you play
That was a
games,
fun
video
trip.
games when you were there?
Yeah, I told you we went to,
I'm kidding.
the arcade.
Have you ever okay, I have a question. So, did you ever did you ever see, like, those gaming competitions, like,
Mhm.
back in the '80s?
Yeah, they still have
That's
them.
no, I know, they're just more, like, advanced now, but back in the day, like, what was that movie called? Wasn't there a movie in the '80s about game oh, there was, and I think that really kind of made me think, "Oh, I would love to do something like that." It was about the kid that played the arcade game, and he was really good. Who was that? Anyway, I loved, like, the thought of a gaming competition.
3 before The Wizard,
The Wizard! Yes! I love that movie. We gotta watch that movie again. I love that movie. Totally writing that down. We're watching that tonight.
and it was because they competed in Nintendo video games.
Yes, I think that's why I liked it so much, but that was did Disney make that? Does it say?
Mm-mm. I don't
It
think it
was
was
someone
Disney,
else.
no.
Okay. Yeah,
Fred
I just
Savage.
yeah, that's who it was. That was such a
Fred
great movie.
Savage.
Yeah.
That and,
But,
Tron too, talking about, like,
it's funny,
movies
I
to
didn't know
video
anything about
games.
it. I didn't know anything
Oh,
about
man.
Tron growing up.
The Tron game was awesome because of the bikes, but, like, the light bikes put
Oh,
you
yeah, yeah.
again you went into, like, shock when we rode that at Disney World.
Okay.
You remember the
Well,
Tron ride?
yeah, I try not to. It was very traumatic, and every time someone talks about going to Disney growing up, my parents never took us to Disney. All my friends went as
Wah,
kids,
wah.
and I always wanted to go, but my parents never took me. They just didn't wanna spend the money on it, I
Didn't
guess.
you live in
So
Florida too?
huh? What?
Did you live in Florida or your parents lived in Florida?
No, but that wasn't until I was, like, in my 20s.
Okay.
My dad had a job there. So we could have gone then, but even then, I didn't have any money to go. Yeah, but we finally went, like, a couple years ago as a family. I have realized so much about myself in the past 3 years. I never realized how deathly afraid I am of uh roller coasters. I'm afraid of heights to a certain extent, but not like deathly afraid. I got on the Tron ride and I thought I was going to get decapitated. I closed my eyes. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Then I got on Guardians of the Galaxy and that was
Which was
even
amazing.
worse.
Best ride at Disney outside of the what was it? The Aerosmith roller coaster, which was awesome.
The rock and
But
roll one.
yeah, that
Yeah,
one
yeah.
was really good because it was all,
No,
like, in
I
the
didn't
dark
like
and
any of
stuff,
it. To
but
be brutally honest, no, I did not like them. Well, that was the first time I ever had felt nauseous after a ride, and I'm very adventurous. So, for me not to like I just thought I was literally gonna die. So, it was so
yeah,
bad.
I love roller coasters. Love, love,
Yeah,
love.
you and
But,
Travis did great. I mean, even
yeah.
Becca was great at it. She was just like, "Okay, whatever."
Yes. But those, yeah, I lost my train of thought. We were talking about something Tron.
Yeah,
So, yes,
the
Tron,
Tron game.
the light bikes were that kinda it was just a very cool visual. There was just,
Yeah.
like, awesome visuals with that, so and anything that was a movie that they turned into a game was interesting if it was executed well. A lot of them weren't, but that I feel like definitely kinda hit the mark in some spots. Did you watch the movie Hackers too back in '95?
One of my favorite movies ever back in the
It's a
day.
great
I
movie.
just thought that was like I was like, "These people are so cool." And Angelina Jolie was just like I was like, "I wanna be her. She's super cool." It was a lot of fun.
Video games. Who would have thought if they would have created as many memories as they did?
Yeah,
And I guess every generation goes through this evolution of change, but I feel
yeah.
like our generation saw some of the biggest technological advances, and I'm sure I'll get flamed for saying that,
Flamed.
but think about it, through the birth of the internet, the birth of the cell phone, right? Even just those 2, like, literally changed the way we live
Mhm.
forever,
Yeah. Right.
forever. You will never go back, and I just the internet was the end of the world. You remember, like,
I
everyone's like,
know.
"It'll be the death of the world," and then
Y2K.
Y2K. I'm never forget working over I was on call for Y2K because I was working
Uh-huh.
for, like, a technology company at that point, and my job was I serviced and supported small banks, and back in the day, they were called MAC machines in Philly, money access centers, money access something, and Y2K was gonna take out all the ATMs. So
Yeah.
that and then the Melissa virus was going around, which was a huge
I
deal.
don't remember
Like,
that.
for all my IT nerds, they'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So,
Okay.
not only were you combating Y2K panic, the
Why
Melissa
was it
virus
called
was
Melissa?
I forget. I actually
And
forget
someone
what
had
it
a
did.
bad girlfriend.
I just the name of that virus sticks out in my head, so we were
That's funny.
supporting those and I also worked for, the government at that point, like state and local government, and Y2K was a big deal because all their
Mhm.
systems were mainframe based and old, so it was wild. Those were wild times. The wild west of growing up in the early stages of technology was
Mhm.
something different.
Yeah.
Especially if this will be a funny maybe I'll do this episode by myself because I don't wanna bore you, but I'll tell one quick
Thank
story.
you. No, I'm kidding.
So there was these there were the computer rooms
Right.
back in the day. They still have them. And literally they were raised floors and they were temperature controlled. And there was always like one or two people that would run these computer centers or computer rooms. And my job, I had to change the tape, the backup tape. Every day I had to go in and change the backup tape for a bunch of different clients. And then I would have to take those tapes off site,
Right.
drop them to like Iron Mountain or something. And there was one particular client I had where it was a guy, he would sit in the computer room all day, right? That was his thing, monitor the screens and stuff.
Right.
And he used to store his McDonald's in the floor. He would buy like a bunch
Oh
of
my
burgers and it
gosh.
was so cold in
Really?
there. I was
Oh,
like,
that's
this is so
funny.
nasty. But this is like, this was his thing. He would store
Uh-huh.
like a bag of burgers, McDonald's burgers in the floor of the
Sounds
raised
really good right
floor.
now. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it was cold. It was just
I'll eat a
nasty.
cold burger. I don't care.
Yeah, you're savage like that. It's just not normal.
I also drink cold coffee and 2-day-old coffee.
Yes, like straight out
So,
the fridge. It's
yeah, I have
awful.
no qualms about that.
Yeah, you are a survivalist.
Oregon Trail
When you
trained me
don't,
well.
right? I'd die of dysentery if I had to drink cold 2-day-old coffee.
I would suck the venom out of my snake bite.
Oh
That's
gosh,
funny.
isn't that what you had to do?
Yeah,
Didn't
you
you have
did
to
in the game,
this is
I
why we were
think.
built different, I'll tell you.
Yeah. All of our childhood nursery rhymes were about death. And
Trauma.
then
We grew up in
and our
full-on
video
trauma.
game was about death and dying.
It
I
was
mean, it
great.
is kinda crazy, don't you think? Like, that's so weird.
I think it's why we're so sarcastic and just snappy and witty.
I
I don't know.
guess.
I feel like our
Surpri
generation
Why
has
are we not more depressed as a
oh, we're
like,
that
our
too.
generation,
Well,
based on all
we
that
had to
stuff?
survive since day one. I mean, you were
Rub some
literally
dirt in it.
surviving.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no participation awards back then.
Yeah, true.
So,
Actually, no, there were. I got some.
yeah, that's because you're from the
That's why I'm
South or something.
soft.
I don't know.
I'm kidding. No, there were
If you're
lots
not
of great. Huh?
if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a movie reference. I know you wouldn't get it.
Of course.
Talladega Nights, baby. Talladega Nights. Shake and bake. Shake and bake.
Yes. Okay,
And
so
on that note,
yes.
this has been a fun ride. Talking about this stuff definitely puts a
A fun
positive
ride.
spin on the day. It's been a fun
Yeah.
ride. No pun in
No, that's
full pun
another reason
intended.
why we do these in the morning now, because it is so fun,
It
and
starts
it
the
just
day,
kinda
right?
it slingshots you into the day with sunshine.
And now we're gonna hop in the Ferrari and go outrun, immersive driving, with that vibey music and scenery. We're gonna
Seriously,
hop in the
though,
Ferrari.
I
You
really do
gotta
wanna
dye
go
your
play a
hair
video game.
blonde. Yeah, you gotta go
It
dye
kind
your
of
hair.
is. No, I wanna go play video games now. Like, I really do. We gotta go. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay.
What video game are we gonna play?
Who cares? Let's just go.
Alright.
Okay.
We're gonna have to talk about the future. We'll have to do a part 2 of this because I feel like I have more to talk about.
Yes.
And on
Not
that
today.
note, not today. This was a great episode. Thanks for all the support, listening, and hopefully you enjoyed this as much
Yes.
as we did.
And
Leave us
let
a
us
comment.
know
Yeah,
about
leave us a
your
comment.
experiences with video games. We wanna
Let
hear
us
your
know what your
stories.
favorite video game was.
Yeah.
And favorite video game console or favorite computer video game or just something. Let us know something
Yes.
along those lines. Yes.
Something. Or correct us if we quoted something incorrectly about a game.
Well, thanks for tuning in to the Wells nostalgic video game episode.
Mhm.
So this is
The
another
source of
episode of the
nostalgia.
source of nostalgia. Yeah, we're really
That's right.
loving the nostalgia stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening and tuning in to another episode of The Well. I'm Drew.
Yes. And I'm Kat.
We'll see you next time.
Have a great
Bye.
day.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.